Well, you've mentioned a couple of times Intel Labs. Your neuromorphic computing lab is part of the broader Intel Labs. And I've had the pleasure of speaking with a number of people at Intel Labs, including Rich Uhlig, the director of Intel Labs. Talk a bit about the relationship between your lab and the different component parts of Intel Labs, and frankly, also the way in which you all work together. I'm sure that the Venn diagram that applied across the various parts of the lab has quite a bit of overlap, just as, of course, there are some aspects that are unique to one group versus the other. Talk a bit about the ways in which you and your peers across the lab work together, please.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as you can imagine, that Venn diagram is very complicated. I mean, Intel's business, it touches all aspects of the real world, of all, technology. So Intel Labs mirrors that. We have research in all areas of computing. And so it's a really fun and dynamic environment because there is that diversity across the entire scope of computing. Now, neuromorphic computing, my lab, Neuromorphic Computing Lab, is engaged in pretty much the most, about as basic an area of research as Intel Labs engages in. So this kind of quite a long time horizon, thinking about, really rethinking the basic principles of computing. That's not so common necessarily in Intel Labs. There's maybe quantum computing is the one other analogy where that kind of rethinking is happening in a kind of fundamental approach. Now we're compared to quantum, we have a sort of enviable position where we have chips today. We have a technology that's, from a hardware perspective, could be commercialized. So that means we do have a lot of collaborations, not just outside the company with academics and government groups, but within Intel Labs, with other people pursuing more conventional approaches to AI, applying AI tools that are available today to problems, both inside Intel and outside, our customer problems. And so they provide a really, close, insight into some of the struggles that we have with conventional AI technology, conventional architectures, and so we can, collaborate very deeply and think about, fundamental competitive advantages that we can offer, for Intel, facing those kinds of challenges.